Oh, yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
The financiers of this fascism feed on human misery. Their boys in the CIA set up the trafficking of cocaine and heroin, amphetamines, and other drugs so that they could dumb the kids down. They want the boys and girls in the hood jumping through hoops like dogs in a trained circus act. They want the black communities to suffer in pain and feel the sting of poverty. They want the black neighborhoods to be ridden with rape, robberies, and revolution. They're simply priming the pump, preparing for the political programs which will drive another stake into the heart of America and one step closer to a new world order. Through NAFTA, which is the SHAFTA, and through the GATT trap, they strip the blacks of their jobs. Then they open up the border so that the illegal aliens can rush in and take whatever jobs are still remaining. Then they have their agent provocateurs, like Khalid Muhammad, fertilize the fields of fascism and cry racism.
God is angry with the white man of America for the wicked mistreatment of his chosen people, you, the black man. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says in Message to the Black Man, page 104, paragraph 4, that he's the devil yesterday, he's the devil today, and he's the devil tomorrow. He changeth not. He can't change. His nature is a wicked and a weak and an evil nature. He's coded that way. He can't help himself.
There's no question that our enemy, our mutual enemy, is made up primarily of white men. But it isn't the white man that is the enemy. It's certain white men with a satanic agenda. The propagandists, the press, the Judas goats in the Illuminati elite are trying to bring the black man into thinking that it is the white man that is the enemy. I mean, if you haven't already guessed it, they want chaos to bring about control. They want a black-white confrontation to erupt. They want to create crises. They want to bring about world government. The Cassius cartel, which creates these crises, is demonically ingenious. They actually want us to kill each other.
But what if we join together against him? What if the people of this country suddenly woke up and discovered there's a mutual enemy? What then? How long do you think the Illuminati will last?
Luminists think of themselves as superior, as untouchables. They don't think that they can be touched in the offices of the Council on Foreign Relations at 58 East 68th Street in New York City, or at the secret conferences of the Bilderbergers, which is held in private, guarded by a small army. These limousine liberals think that they are immune from the diseases that they have designed, and from the racists that they have recruited, and all of the poisons that they are pushing. They think that you're just too damn dumb to learn that it was they who financed Hitler and Marx and Mao to bring about a global government. You bring about world war to bring about world government. And when it didn't work the first time and the League of Nations collapsed, they did it the second time to bring about the United Nations. No, they don't think you're smart enough to know that their agents engineered AIDS, or that they created the privately owned Federal Reserve, and that they brought about the Great Depression in 1929, or that they manipulate the stock market and they will bring about its crash for your control. No, they think that you're just too damn dumb to learn. They think of us as idiots that will never see the big picture. They think that we lack the capacity to understand that their agenda is to rule the world through the United Nations, to dominate us all, to murder, to maim, to ravage, to rape, and ruin, and establish hell on earth. The evilarchy that controls this country depends upon chaos for control. The financiers of this fascism feed on human misery. If Dr. Khalid Muhammad's neo-fascism is brought to fruition, blacks will be used like toilet paper by the president and his political pimps along the Potomac. They will discard them after they've been wiped off the face of the earth, then flushed down into the toilet of tyranny, into the cesspool of socialism. Racism is rabid amongst black communities. My guesstimate is that it's 400% to 500% higher in communities that are of color than those that are white. In fact, it's 5 times more likely that a white man will get mugged by blacks than a black would get mugged by whites. And yet blacks represent only 15% of America's society. But the capitalist-controlled propaganda press portrays the exact opposite of the truth. They've spent billions upon billions of dollars building bigotry in the minds of the blacks and building the climate for revolution. The fantasy and the fallacy, which have replaced the facts, are now labeled politically correct. Black bigotry is hidden rather than heralded. But there's a reason. For the past 40 years, the Manhattan money mob has underwritten racist movies. They've spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars building bigotry in the brains of the blacks and developing the climate for revolution. Their pictures portray whites as pot-bellied bigots, parasites, perverts, nerds, num-nums, and Nazis. In films like Mandingo, Roots, and Drum, they push their poison propaganda, picture by picture, to punctuate their liberal loony-toony line of lip. It's all part of the master plan to take your mind, your soul, and your body. As for Khalid's programmed propaganda pitch, it fits hand in glove with Pike's overall objectives. Khalid is pushing race-baiting, white-hating riots and revolution. In the hands of the Manhattan money mob's managed media, they can be used to justify retaliation and establish tyranny. Khalid Muhammad and Adolf Hitler are of the same breed, though not of the same color. They appeal to the ignorant, the uneducated, the angry, and the insane. It is my prayer that with this film, we can save our black brothers and sisters from being slaughtered and enslaved, and can prevent mindless acts of terrorism committed by whites in revenge for what they really don't understand. See, war has been declared upon us by the international banksters. War has been declared upon us all.
Because it's going to be hot, and it will be probably too hot for some of you to handle. We had made some observations this afternoon as to why so many have turned out. Now, of course, we're coming out to hear a debate. It's very rare that you get a white man who will stand in the face of a truth seeker like Khalid Abdul-Muhammad. As you know, Dr. Khalid Abdul-Muhammad was the Western Regional Representative of the Nation of Islam. He later became the national spokesman for Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he was also Supreme Captain, and he was Western Regional Representative of Mosque number 27 here for many years. And many of you know and love him for the work that he did. Am I correct? It is time that we step to our enemies. We look right in their face. We call them out for who and what they are. We do it unequivocally. We're not shaky at the knees. we look at him and say, if you're the devil, then you are the devil and you are the enemy that we're fighting. It is about time that we stand up as a people and confront the oppressors. Now with this great amount of people, we have people in the auxiliary room which is full. We've got hundreds of people outside the door right now that still somehow we're going to try to squeeze them in. That's right. So you might really be practicing some black unity tonight. But with this great amount of people, we will not be able to allow everyone to come to the microphone and ask questions. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brother Jamal, who you've heard with Carl Nelson on the front page and all that. And I want to introduce to you our other guest moderator, Sister Dr. Rosie Milligan.
Good evening to you. Say it like you're healthy, good evening. Good evening. Say it like you're wealthy, good evening. Good evening. We're just happy to see so many people turn out tonight to hear this debate, to entertain what is truth. Can you hear me? For your first introduction of the first debater. The Free World Alliance. The Free World is an alliance of political, ethnic, tribal, religious, and linguistic nation-states that seeks to be free, sovereign, and independent. Anthony J. Hilder is author of the Free World Manifesto. Hilder's manifesto is diametrically different from those of Hitler's, Marx, and Mayo. It calls for the political power now vested in the Orwellian hierarchy to be immediately returned to the hundreds of nation-states that have been colonized, communized, coned, and controlled over the past 200 years. Unlike John F. Kennedy and Adolf Hitler, who asked the citizens of their nation to work for their governments, Anthony J. Hilder states, ask not what you can do for your government, but rather what your government can do for you. For our governments must be our servants, and we, the people, their masters. Hilder produced the historic Illuminati CFR recordings with Myron Fagan in 1967, which changed the course of American politics, revealing that the nation's enemies are primarily internal rather than foreign. Anthony J. Hilder has personally interviewed Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Marlon Brando, Walter Winchell, Senator George Murphy, and Strom Thurmond, and thousands of other newsworthy people. He has appeared on Ancient Mysteries of the World on CBS, and Ashanti Television X-Files special for Japan, The Joe Payne Show, General Electric Theater, M Squad, The Les Crane Show, plus has been interviewed for Germany, French, and Dutch television specials. Hilder is a free rightist and speaks before groups ranging from the most conservative to the Black Panthers. He considers the black man an endangered species and lectures on the genetic engineering of AIDS. Hilder supports the secession of Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico from the Union. He is an honorary Chicaloon Indian and has been initiated in the Hawaiian Brotherhood. Hilder has been labeled one of the most enlightened men in America. May I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony J. Hilder.
Khalid is here because, as I understand it, he hates the white man. I am here because I love the black woman. Now, I am here in hopes that we can prevent a resurrection of an insurrection.